You know what's funny about being the most terrifying species in the galaxy? We didn't even know we were in the running. Picture this. There we were, puttering around on our little blue marble, arguing about whether pineapple belongs on pizza. It doesn't, fight me. When some genius in the Zixathulian Empire decided to pull what might go down in history as the galaxy's biggest hold-my-beer moment. See, they'd been watching us for a while. Standard procedure, really. New species pop up, you keep an eye on them. Make sure they don't blow themselves up before first contact. The usual cosmic babysitting gig. But somewhere along the line, one of their analysts got it into their heads, multiple heads, that humans were too unpredictable and potentially destabilizing to the galactic community. Which, okay, fair point. We did invent both nuclear weapons and cat memes within the same century. Their solution? Take out one human. Just one! A test run, if you will. Some poor accountant from Milwaukee named Dave Thompson. Of all the humans to pick, they chose an accountant from Milwaukee. The galaxy's greatest strategists, ladies and gentlemen. Now, here's where it gets good. You see, most species, when faced with the death of one of their own by an unknown force, respond in one of two ways. They either cower in fear or launch a carefully measured diplomatic response. Humans? Oh boy. We took door number 3, absolute unmitigated chaos. Within 24 hours of Dave's disappearance, some teenager in Nebraska had already pieced together grainy footage of the abduction, posted it on Reddit, and sparked what would become known as the Dave Thompson Liberation Movement. Justice. For Dave started trending worldwide. Someone wrote a folk song about him. 3 different Hollywood studios got into a bidding war over the movie rights. And that was just day 1. By day 3, the world's governments had somehow, and don't ask me how because I'm pretty sure it violated at least 15 laws of international relations, formed a unified response team. The UN Security Council actually agreed on something for once. Spoiler alert, that something was, whoever did this is about to have a really bad time. The Zixathulians, watching all this unfold, probably started to realize they'd made what we humans like to call an oopsie. But it was when they intercepted our internet traffic that true panic set in. Because while they were expecting military preparations or diplomatic outreach, what they got instead was millions of memes featuring Dave's LinkedIn profile picture. A change.org petition to clap alien cheeks for Dave, with over 10 million signatures. 14 different conspiracy theories, 3 of which somehow blamed it on the IRS. A TikTok dance challenge called the #DaveRevenge. And my personal favorite, a detailed 47-page document on Reddit titled, How to Make Aliens Regret Messing with Humanity, a comprehensive guide. When they finally decided to reveal themselves and return Dave, slightly traumatized but otherwise unharmed, they were met with humanity's collective response, which could be summed up as, "Oh, you think you can just return him, like a borrowed lawnmower? Sit down, we need to have a chat." The resulting peace negotiations were interesting, to say the least. Humanity demanded, and I quote from the official document, "A formal apology to Dave, written in Comic Sans, to be broadcast on all galactic frequencies. We also insisted that Earth be classified as a level 10 do not mess with civilization, despite there only being 7 levels in the official classification system. The Zixathulians agreed to everything. Every single thing. Because here's what they realized. What the whole galaxy realized. Humans don't just protect their own. We turn it into a whole thing. We'll meme you into submission. We'll turn your greatest mistake into a global inside joke that will haunt you for generations. We'll unite our entire species over an accountant from Milwaukee, for crying out loud." And that, kids, is how Earth became known as the galaxy's equivalent of that one person at the party who seems chill until you steal their garlic bread. And then they make it their life's mission to destroy you, but like in a really creative and entertaining way. As for Dave, he wrote a best-selling book, My Bad Week with Aliens, and How It Started an Interstellar Incident. Got a movie deal, and still does his taxes on time like the champion he is. Though I hear he now works exclusively from home. Can't really blame him for that one. The end. You'd think after the whole Dave incident, yes, it's capitalized now, deal with it, the galaxy would have learned to leave Earth alone. But no, apparently some species just have to poke the bear. Or in this case, the weird primates who turned intergalactic diplomacy into a meme factory. It all started when the Galactic Council decided they should probably keep a closer eye on Earth. You know, standard monitoring procedure. Except they made the crucial mistake of starting their observation during October. Let me paint you a picture. There's this poor alien anthropologist, probably fresh out of whatever passes for college in their society, watching humans through their fancy monitoring equipment. Everything's going fine until October 1st hits, and suddenly, emergency transmission to Galactic Council. The humans are exhibiting concerning behavior. They're placing artificial skeletal remains on their dwellings. They're carving faces into vegetation. They're consuming an alarming amount of something called pumpkin spice. Is this some kind of death ritual? Should we intervene? The Council, still traumatized from the Dave incident, immediately went into crisis mode, which only got worse when they intercepted our internet traffic and found millions of humans declaring they were ready to die for something called Spirit Halloween. But wait, it gets better. Just as they were drafting an emergency intervention protocol, November rolled around. Suddenly the death imagery vanished, replaced by humans gathering in large groups. Perform what the aliens could only interpret as ritualistic food combat while watching large humans clash for entertainment purposes. The Council analysts' report, which later became a bestseller in the Galactic Amazon equivalent, included this actual quote. Humans appear to enter a food-induced comatose state they call food coma, only to rise at an ungodly hour the next day to engage in aggressive economic warfare they term Black Friday. We are unsure if this is a punishment ritual or a reward. By December, the Galactic Council was in full-blown panic mode. Their reports read like increasingly desperate diary entries. Day 1. Humans are bringing trees inside their homes, purpose unknown. Day 7. They're wrapping objects in decorative paper only to destroy the wrapping later. Possible commentary on the futility of material possession? Day 15. A large red being appears to hold their offspring hostage in exchange for baked goods. Humans celebrate this. Day 24. They are letting the red being into their homes willingly. It was around this time that Dave Thompson, yes, that Dave, decided to have some fun. He started a blog called Explaining Earth to Aliens, but making it worse on purpose. Some highlights included, yes, we absolutely sacrificed the turkey to appease the football gods. Black Friday is actually our annual Hunger Games, but with coupons. Santa Claus is our supreme leader who judges children's behavior year-round through an elaborate surveillance network of elves on shelves. Pumpkin spice is a mind control substance that prepares humans for the skeleton war. The blog went viral both on Earth and thanks to our new galactic internet connection across the galaxy. Several alien species started their own Halloween celebrations, though they couldn't quite grasp why putting candy inside a hollowed-out gourd was supposed to be fun. To be fair, neither do we. We just roll with it. The Zixothulians, still trying to recover their reputation from the Dave incident, attempted to participate in Christmas by sending gift-wrapped antimatter to all Galactic Council members. The resulting diplomatic incident was spicy, to say the least, especially when humans started posting antimatter Georg memes about it. The Galactic Council eventually had to create a new department, the Human Cultural Context Division, HCCD, staffed entirely by beings who had sworn an oath to attempt to understand human nonsense without losing their minds. Their first official report was 3 words long. We give up. These days, there's a required course at the Galactic Academy called Human Holidays 101. No, they're not actually trying to start a skeleton war. The final exam is just one question. Why? The correct answer is, because humans gonna human. Dave's blog, meanwhile, has spawned 17 sequels, a Netflix special, and a new holiday celebrated on Mars colonies called Dave Day, where people pretend to be abducted by aliens and then write passive-aggressive Yelp reviews about the experience. And you know what? The aliens still can't tell which of our holidays are real, and which ones we made up just to mess with them. To be honest, neither can we anymore. I heard the Galactic Council is thinking about making Earth a protected cultural heritage site. Not to protect Earth from the galaxy, mind you, but to protect the galaxy from our concentrated chaos. Fair enough, honestly. Fair enough. Oh boy, did the galaxy mess up this time. Like on a scale of pineapple on pizza to teaching AI sarcasm, this was definitely up there. They gave us access to galactic gram. I know what you're thinking. Surely after the Dave incident and the holiday panic, someone must have raised their hand, or tentacle, or psychic appendage, and said, hey, maybe giving humans unlimited access to intergalactic social media isn't the brightest idea since self-replicating glitter? Spoiler alert, they did not. It started innocently enough. The Galactic Council, in their infinite wisdom, and I'm using that term as loosely as a quantum particle's location, decided that as part of Earth's integration into the galactic community, we should have access to their primary social media platform. You know, for cultural exchange and diplomatic purposes. What they didn't account for was that humans had spent decades perfecting the art of turning literally anything into meme warfare. Within 48 hours of launch, an Earth-Tings was trending across 17 star systems. Our first viral post? A video of a cat knocking things off a desk, but with the caption "Live footage of humanity entering galactic politics." The Zixathulians found it so relatable they made it their species' official diplomatic seal. Then came the challenges. Oh, sweet merciful cosmos, the challenges. The gravity check challenge became particularly problematic. Humans posting videos of themselves dropping things in different planetary gravity fields. It got so bad that the Galactic Council had to issue an emergency directive. No, you cannot visit the heavy gravity world of Krathos just to see how far you can yeet a frisbee. But the real chaos started when Dave Thompson, yes, that Dave, decided to start a cooking channel called Earth Flavors for Alien Palates. His first video? Making mac and cheese in 0G. It was a disaster. A beautiful cheese-covered disaster that somehow got him nominated for a Galactic Gordon Ramsay equivalent. The comment section was pure gold. Zixathulian foodie. What is this cheese and why does it move like a sentient being? Human response. Wait until they find out about Kraft singles. Quantum Gourmand 42. Is this a weapon? Dave Thompson. Only against lactose intolerance and sadness. The Galactic Council had to create a new classification just for cheese. Non-sentient but suspiciously animated protein configuration. This is now officially the longest entry in the Galactic Encyclopedia. But here's where it gets really interesting. Remember how humans can turn anything into a competition? Well, someone, definitely not me, definitely not after 3 space margaritas, started the Explain Earth Things Badly challenge. Some highlights. Cats are tiny demons we voluntarily share our homes with because sometimes they go burp. Coffee is bean soup that powers our civilization. Sleep is just a free trial of death that we get upset about missing. Bread is actually domesticated grain that we've convinced to become fluffy through the power of yeast slavery. The Andromedans actually declared a day of mourning for the enslaved yeast before we could explain fermentation. There's now an annual Liberation Day celebrated in the Andromeda Galaxy where they release active yeast cultures into space. We decided not to correct them. Things really went off the rails when humans discovered that most alien species don't have anything equivalent to dad jokes. We've since been classified as biological weapons of mass groaning. The Galactic Council had to implement a 5-second delay on all transmissions just to add warning labels to puns. Dave, being Dave, saw an opportunity. His new series, Dad Jokes Across the Cosmos, has become required viewing for alien diplomats trying to understand human communication. There's a running theory in some scientific circles that our ability to simultaneously laugh at and be embarrassed by dad jokes is unique in the known universe. The Zixathulians, still trying to make up for the whole abduction thing, have become particularly enthusiastic about human internet culture. They've started ending all their diplomatic transmissions with, "Thank you for coming to my TED Talk." Nobody has the heart to tell them we stopped saying that years ago. Last week, they attempted to participate in Throwback Thursday by sharing surveillance footage from the Dave incident. Dave responded by posting his old LinkedIn profile picture with the caption, "Felt cute, might get abducted later IDK." It's now the most liked post in galactic history. The Galactic Council recently released a statement that they're considering implementing what they're calling the Human Containment Protocol for social media. Apparently, our shitposting capabilities are classified as a reality warping phenomenon. Honestly? Fair. Meanwhile, there's a petition going around to make "This is fine" the official motto of the Human Cultural Context Division. Last I checked, it had signatures from 12 different dimensions, including 3 that theoretically don't exist. And somewhere out there, in a cozy home office in Milwaukee, Dave Thompson is planning his next video. Teaching aliens about human memes. A TED Talk. Gone wrong. Gone sexual. Cops called. The galaxy isn't ready. But when has that ever stopped us? Look, we need to talk about what happened when humans discovered galactic streaming services. You'd think after the Galactic Gram TM incident, which, by the way, is still ongoing. Yesterday, someone taught a hive mind collective about rickrolling, and now entire star systems are experiencing what they're calling synchronized rhythm-based psychological warfare. The galaxy would have learned to maybe, just maybe, put some guardrails on human access to their media platforms. Narrator Morgan Freeman voice. They did not. It started when someone, and by someone, I mean Dave Thompson, because of course it was Dave, discovered that alien reality TV shows are all completely literal. Like their version of Survivor is just diplomatic footage from actual survival situations, and their dating show is just mathematical compatibility algorithms running in real time. No drama, no plot twists, no camera people gleefully filming as everything goes wrong. Dave, being the chaotic good entity he's become, had an idea. What if, he pitched to the Galactic Entertainment Network, we made a show where different species have to live together in a house and complete challenges, but, and here's the twist, we don't tell them about the challenges beforehand. The network executives, or what passes for executives when you're dealing with a psychic fungal collective, were skeptical. But how will they prepare adequate response strategies? Dave, with the confidence of a man who survived both alien abduction and Milwaukee winters, replied, "That's the neat part, they won't." And thus, Big Brother, Milky Way Edition, was born. The first season's cast included a Zixathulian diplomat, still trying to rehabilitate their species' image, a quantum physicist from Earth, who kept trying to explain why their roommate couldn't actually be in two places at once, a silicon-based life form who kept eating the furniture, 3 beings of pure energy who had to share one corporeal form, Dave's cousin Steve from accounting, who nobody actually cast, he just showed up and everyone was too afraid to ask how. The first challenge? Making breakfast. Should have been simple, right? Wrong. Turns out, when you put beings with fundamentally different concepts of food, morning, and existence in charge of making breakfast, you get what the Galactic Council now refers to as the waffle incident. There's still a temporal anomaly in the kitchen that occasionally produces perfectly cooked Belgian waffles, from 3 weeks in the future. The show broke every viewing record in the galaxy, mainly because no one could figure out if it was a comedy, a horror show, or a documentary about the inevitable heat death of the universe through the lens of toast. The episode where they all had to assemble IKEA furniture nearly caused an interstellar incident. The silicon-based life form ate all the Allen wrenches, the energy beings kept phasing through the particle board, and Steve somehow assembled a fully functional quantum computer instead of a Poang chair. He still maintains he just followed the instructions. But the real drama started when they introduced the concept of confessional interviews. The Zixathulian couldn't grasp why they needed to confess anything. "I already told Gary I ate his leftover antimatter pasta. I left a note and everything." The show spawned an entire genre of what aliens now call human chaos entertainment, or HCE. Current hits include Keep Up with the Kardashians, Space Edition, which is just regular Earth footage that aliens think is scripted because no way beings actually live like that. The Great Galactic Bake Off, banned in 3 sectors after someone tried to make sourdough in 0 gravity. Love is Blind, Multiverse Edition. Turns out love isn't blind when one of your contestants exists in 11 dimensions simultaneously. The Galactic Emmy equivalent had to create a new category. Best Performance in a Reality Show by someone who didn't know they were in a reality show. Dave's cousin Steve has won it 4 years running, and he still shows up to accept the award in his accounting firm's casual Friday outfit. Meanwhile, Dave has become something of a galactic entertainment mogul. His latest project? Teaching alien stand-up comedians about timing, which is particularly challenging when some of them experience time non-linearly. Last week, someone told the punchline 3 years before the setup, and it somehow still killed. The Zixathulians, in their ongoing effort to understand human entertainment, have started their own YouTube channel where they react to Earth media. Their most popular video is still Zixathulians Watch the Room for the First Time, which somehow got Tommy Wiseau verified on Galactic Gram TM. But perhaps the most unexpected development was when the quantum physicist from Season 1 started a dating show called Love Isn't Quantum, A Particle Has to Choose. It's just hours of various beings trying to understand human relationship dynamics, while simultaneously grappling with the Copenhagen interpretation. It's currently the highest-rated show in the galaxy, despite, or perhaps because of, the fact that no one, including the participants, knows what's going on at any given time. The Galactic Council recently tried to regulate human entertainment influence by implementing a reality check protocol. It lasted approximately 3 episodes before someone pitched Keeping Up with the Council, and suddenly all regulatory meetings were getting higher ratings than the Super Bowl. And somewhere out there, in a Milwaukee home office that now spans several quantum realities, Dave Thompson is pitching his next big idea: interdimensional house hunters. The budget is infinite because money doesn't exist in dimension X745, but they're really picky about having a good school district in this plane of reality. The galaxy never stood a chance. So here's the thing about introducing aliens to sports. Maybe, just maybe, we should have started with something simpler than baseball. I mean, look, when you have to begin your explanation with, okay, so there's this thing called a balk, and it's basically illegal deceiving, but only sometimes, and nobody actually knows all the rules. You're already in trouble. Now try explaining that to a species that communicates entirely through interpretive crystalline resonance. But no, humanity, in our infinite wisdom, and by infinite wisdom I mean hold my beer and watch this energy, decided to go all in. And by humanity, I mean, you guessed it, Dave Thompson. See, after his success with Galactic Reality TV, Dave decided what the galaxy really needed was Earth sports. All of them. At once. Because apparently surviving one alien abduction wasn't enough excitement for our favorite Milwaukee accountant turned cosmic chaos agent. He pitched it to the Galactic Council as a cultural exchange initiative, which, by the way, is now the galaxy's favorite euphemism for watch humans do something monumentally stupid for entertainment. The first attempted baseball game was, well, disaster feels like an understatement. The Zixathulians kept teleporting to catch the ball. Ruled illegal after much debate. The energy beings argued they technically touched all bases simultaneously, by existing in a quantum superposition. And don't even get me started on what happened when we tried to explain the infield fly rule to a hive mind. But that was nothing compared to what happened when we introduced them to soccer. Picture this. A field of players from 17 different species, half of whom can fly, 3 who exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, and 1 guy from Cleveland who just showed up with a six-pack and somehow made it onto the field. We're pretty sure he's related to Dave's cousin Steve, but no one's brave enough to ask. The referee, a being of pure logic from the Vulcan-like Rationalia Prime, had an existential crisis trying to explain why diving is technically cheating, but also an accepted part of the game. They've since retired to become a hermit on a distant moon, where they spend their days contemplating the philosophical implications of the beautiful game. Then someone mentioned American football. The Galactic Council had to create an entire new subdivision just to handle the ensuing chaos. They called it the Committee for Understanding Rules that humans made up because they were bored. Kirkmub. Their first official report was just a series of question marks followed by, why do they stop every 10 seconds? Why? But the real fun started when we introduced them to chess. Now you'd think chess would be safe, right? Nice, logical, strategic game with clear rules and no room for chaos. You sweet summer child. Turns out when you introduce a game based on medieval European warfare to species that experience time non-linearly, things get interesting. The Temporal Chess Championship of 23-26 is still going on, despite having officially ended 3 years ago. Someone castled so hard they created an alternate timeline where pawns have union rights. The Zixathulians, still trying to improve their image, decided to host what they called the Intergalactic Games of Human Sports and Probable Chaos. The opening ceremony featured a reproduction of the entire history of human athletics, including that one time at your high school when you tried to impress your crush during PE and walked straight into a volleyball net. Yes, that specific moment. No, we don't know how they got footage of it. Events included quantum basketball, still ongoing in 6 different dimensions, multi-species marathon, had to be cancelled when someone pointed out that for some species, crossing the finish line would take several human lifetimes. Synchronized swimming for non-aqueous life forms, surprisingly popular. Ultra cricket, regular cricket but with antimatter bats. Banned after the 3rd spatial rift. Golf, unchanged, but now takes literally millennia because some players can calculate. The perfect shot by experiencing all possible futures simultaneously. The real MVP of the games turned out to be Dave's cousin Steve's goldfish, who somehow won the 100-meter butterfly despite being, a regular goldfish. The investigation is ongoing, but the leading theory is that reality itself has just given up trying to make sense of anything involving the Thompson extended family. Meanwhile, the Galactic Olympics Committee, GOC, is still trying to standardize rules across species. Current challenges include defining what counts as a leg for the high jump, whether telepathically convincing the ball to move counts as touching it, if using your species' natural ability to manipulate space-time is technically performance enhancement, how to handicap races when some competitors experience time backwards. The latest controversy erupted when someone introduced aliens to professional wrestling. The problem wasn't that they thought it was real. The problem was they thought all human sports were supposed to be like wrestling. This led to a very confusing tennis match where the ball was replaced with a folding chair. Dave, being Dave, saw an opportunity. His new show, Real Sports, Fake Sports, and Sports We Made Up Because We Were Drunk, is breaking viewership records across the galaxy. The episode explaining curling had to be broadcast with a disclaimer. Yes, this is a real sport. No, we don't understand it either. The Zixathulians have become particularly fond of roller derby, despite not having any concept of wheels or, in some cases, physical form. They've adapted it into something called quantum derby, which is either the most exciting sport in the galaxy or a war crime, depending on which physics you're using. And somewhere in Milwaukee, Dave Thompson is pitching his next big idea. Fantasy Sports League, where you draft imaginary players for sports that don't exist yet. The tagline? It makes as much sense as cricket. He's not wrong. Okay, so remember how I said the galaxy wasn't ready for human entertainment? Turns out that was the understatement of the millennium. Because somebody, and by somebody, I mean literally every human with an internet connection, decided to introduce aliens to conspiracy theories. And not just the boring ones about government surveillance, which, by the way, became significantly less interesting when the Zixathulians admitted that, yes, they were indeed watching us, but mostly because they got addicted to cat videos. No, we went straight for the deep end of the crazy pool. It started, as all good catastrophes do these days, with Dave Thompson hosting a late-night Galactic TM livestream titled, Things Humans Think Might Be True, but Probably Aren't, but Maybe Are. The Galactic Council tried to shut it down, but they were too late. The damage was already done. The first theory he shared? Birds aren't real. Now you might think advanced alien civilizations would be above falling for such obvious nonsense. You'd be wrong. The Zixathulians immediately launched a full-scale investigation into Earth's avian population, complete with undercover operatives disguised as pigeons. Spoiler alert, they were really bad at it. Turns out floating 3 feet above the ground and asking other birds about their operational parameters is somewhat suspicious. But that was just the beginning. When someone mentioned flat Earth theory, the quantum physicists in the audience actually had to take a collective mental health day. The concept that some humans genuinely believed they could see the edge of the planet, but all the world's sailors were somehow in on a massive cover-up. It was too much. One particularly distraught physicist wrote a 2,000-page paper titled, Why Would You Even Need to Fake That? A comprehensive guide to things that are already real and don't need conspiracy theories. Then came the biggie, ancient aliens. Oh boy. The Galactic Archaeological Society had to release an official statement. We weren't here. That wasn't us. Humans built their own pyramids. Please stop sending us History Channel screenshots. But my personal favorite was when Dave's cousin Steve, remember him? The one who keeps showing up places without being invited? Decided to start a conspiracy theory about conspiracy theories. His viral post. What if conspiracy theories are actually alien plots to make us think we're crazy, so we don't realize how crazy reality actually is? Caused 3 different hive minds to split into opposing factions. The resulting debates got so heated that the Galactic Council had to establish a new department, the Bureau of Human Ideological Containment and Reality Assessment, or BCHARA. Their job? Figure out which human beliefs are genuine cultural phenomena and which ones we made up just to mess with aliens. They're currently 0 for 47. Some highlights from their latest report. Humans claim there is a creature called Bigfoot, which is simultaneously too elusive to be caught, but also apparently loves beef jerky and posing for blurry photographs. Further investigation into the birds aren't real movement has revealed it started as satire, became genuine, then became satire again, and now exists in a quantum state of belief that our scientists are afraid to measure in case it collapses into definitive reality. The human obsession with a theoretical aquatic cryptid, known as the Loch Ness Monster, appears to be less about proving its existence and more about giving it cute nicknames and making it a tourist attraction. Update on the Finland doesn't exist theory. We've checked. It does. We think. Our researchers are now questioning their own existence. The Zixathulians, in their ongoing effort to understand human culture, started their own conspiracy theory. What if Dave Thompson isn't actually from Milwaukee? This somehow spawned 7 different documentary series, a podcast network, and a religion based on the idea that Milwaukee itself is a mass hallucination caused by excessive cheese consumption. Dave's response? He changed his Galactic TM bio to, maybe from Milwaukee, citation needed, and watched chaos unfold. But the real kicker came when someone introduced aliens to the concept of cryptids. The resulting enthusiasm led to the creation of an intergalactic cryptozoological research organization called Finding Unknown Non-Terrestrial Knowledge, or FUNK. Their first expedition to find the Jersey Devil ended with them submitting a 400-page report that just said, "Humans are making this up as they go along, aren't they?" Repeated in increasingly distressed fonts. The Galactic Council tried to ban Earth conspiracy content after what became known as the Illuminati Incident, where several species became convinced that triangle-shaped objects were secretly controlling the universe. This led to a galaxy-wide panic when someone pointed out that many spaceships are, in fact, triangular. Their ban lasted approximately 3 hours before someone started a conspiracy theory about the ban itself, claiming it was proof that the Council was hiding the truth about redacted. The resulting chaos crashed Galactic TM's servers for a week. These days, there's a thriving underground network of alien conspiracy theorists who believe that Earth itself might be a simulation designed to generate increasingly absurd theories about reality. Their evidence? Gestures vaguely at everything. Meanwhile, Dave Thompson has parlayed all this into yet another hit show. Aliens react to human conspiracy theories, while humans react to alien conspiracy theories about human conspiracy theories. It's the most watched program in the galaxy, despite, or perhaps because of, the fact that each episode ends with everyone questioning the nature of reality itself. And somewhere in maybe Milwaukee, Dave is planning his next live stream. What if the real conspiracy was the friends we made along the way? The Galactic Council has preemptively classified it as a mimetic hazard. Just to be safe, listen, we need to talk about what happened when the galaxy discovered Earth music. And before you ask, yes, of course Dave Thompson was involved. At this point, I'm pretty sure he's legally required to be involved in any situation where humanity causes galaxy-wide chaos. It all started when someone, and I'll give you 3 guesses who, but you'll only need one, decided to host a human music appreciation night on their increasingly popular Galactic TM channel. The Galactic Council tried to stop it, but they were too busy dealing with the aftermath of the conspiracy theory fiasco. Apparently, several species are still convinced that bread isn't real, and is actually a government plot to hide the true nature of sandwiches. Dave's first musical selection? Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. I want you to imagine for just a moment, trying to explain the concept of rickrolling to a hive mind that experiences all time simultaneously. The resulting philosophical debate about whether you can technically be rolled if you already knew it was coming, but also hadn't experienced it yet, but also were currently experiencing it, but also would always be experiencing it. Well, it crashed 3 different quantum computers, but that was just the warm-up. When Dave introduced the galaxy to dubstep, several crystalline species literally shattered from excitement. The Galactic Council had to issue an emergency warning. Earth base drops may cause unexpected phase transitions in silicon-based life forms. Please consult your molecular structure before listening. The Zixathulians, still trying to understand human culture, bless their multiple hearts, decided to create their own EDM festival called Ultragalactic. The headline act? A DJ collective of energy beings who could literally transform sound waves into visible light shows. The resulting performance was either the greatest musical experience in history or a war crime, depending on which dimension you were watching from. Then someone introduced them to jazz. The concept of improvisation nearly broke the rational prime mathematicians. But when do they know what notes to play next? One particularly distressed alien asked during a Miles Davis recording. That's the neat part, Dave replied. They don't. 3 different species developed new religions based on the concept of jazz hands. But the real chaos started when the galaxy discovered K-pop. The precision choreography combined with the parasocial fan relationship dynamics created what xenosociologists now refer to as the Great Fandom Awakening. The Zixathulians started their own K-pop group called Quantum Bang, or QB for short. Their first single, Uppa Galactic Style, broke the universal speed limit in 17 different sectors. Classical music proved equally problematic, but for entirely different reasons. Turns out, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony perfectly matches the mathematical sequence used in several species' mating calls. This led to an awkward situation where playing classical music in public became classified as potentially reproductive content in certain star systems. And then we showed them karaoke. Look, nobody expected karaoke to become the galaxy's most popular form of diplomatic negotiation, but here we are. The Galactic Council now requires all minor trade disputes to be settled by competitive karaoke. Last week, the fate of 3 solar systems was decided by an extremely intense rendition of Total Eclipse of the Heart. The Galactic Eurovision Song Contest, GESC, is now the most watched event in known space. Some highlights from last year's competition. The Hive Mind Collective's surprisingly touching cover of We Are the Champions, performed simultaneously by all 7 billion members. A quantum superposition boy band that existed in all possible configurations simultaneously. Dave's cousin Steve performing Sweet Home Alabama, despite not being an official contestant. No one knows how he keeps getting on stage. The Zixathulian entry, a time-bending performance of 4:33 that somehow lasted both 4 minutes, 33 seconds, and 3 weeks. A being of pure energy attempting to recreate TikTok dance trends. They're still untangling the resulting space-time knots. But perhaps the most unexpected development was the galaxy's reaction to human dance moves. The Macarena has been classified as a Form 5 reality warping sequence when performed by non-humanoid species. The cha-cha slide is now officially recognized as a valid form of FTL travel in 6 different jurisdictions. The chicken dance is banned in most civilized systems after the incident. We don't talk about the incident. Dave, naturally, has capitalized on all this with his new show. So you think you can dance across dimensional boundaries? The judging panel includes 3 choreographers, a physicist, and an expert in temporal paradoxes. They're not sure if they're judging the dancing or preventing the collapse of space-time, but the ratings are fantastic either way. The Zixathulians have become particularly fond of flash mobs, although they haven't quite grasped that the flash part is supposed to be metaphorical. Several shopping centers have had to be evacuated due to unexpected photonic eruptions of synchronized dancing. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council's Department of Human Cultural Containment has officially given up on regulating Earth music. Their latest memo just reads, "They've got the whole galaxy doing the YMCA. We surrender." And somewhere in Milwaukee, Dave Thompson is planning his next big project. Intergalactic Idol, where every performance is out of this world, literally. The audition requirements include: must be capable of maintaining physical form while singing. No time travel during performances. Looking at You, Dave's cousin Steve. Boy bands limited to maximum of 3 dimensions. No using black holes as backing vocals. Absolutely no Nickelback. The galaxy may not be ready, but let's be honest. When has that ever stopped us? After all, as the Zixathulians like to say, badly, we're never gonna give you up.